It is almost the end, guys. We are talking Season 6, Episode 9, Goodbye Tour of Girls. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Jeez.
Guys, I love this song.
Summer.
Can you tell this is my jam for an entire summer?
This is definitely a summer type song.
Yeah.
I love this song.
Like poolside jams, Demi Lovato, cool for the summer. It makes me feel cooler listening to it.
Ooh, lights, hey.
Oh my gosh, guys. What an episode. I'm sad. We almost cried. You did cry, right, Mina?
A little bit. The Jessa scene was so sad.
Well,
it seriously was. It was like breaking my heart.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into all of that, like emotions. But before we do, let's introduce all of us. I am Renee Ariel. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel. And I have a panel of beautiful ladies.
Hey.
Hi, my name is Mina. You can find me on Instagram at Mina Makes Magic.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom.
Never gets old.
What's up, y'all? My name is TK Trinidad. You can find me on everything at TK Trinidad.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, overall thoughts of this episode. Let's go around. Quick thoughts.
I loved it. It's bittersweet because there's only one episode left. It feels like there's so much more that's like left unsaid. I don't know if they can finish all of that in one episode.
I would say bittersweet, but I'm happy it's like ending on a good note, kind of, because I feel like if the show was still going, people would be like, oh, I'm so sick of this show. I feel like that happens with a lot of shows, but it is definitely bittersweet because I remember starting with the show on season 1, and it's been a great ride. It's like, you know these girls, so.
Same thing. I'm just I'm actually kind of glad it's ending, not in a bad way. In a good way, because like Kiki Boom was saying, like she was saying, is that like, you know, you didn't want to get to a certain point because now if they went on another season, now she had the baby, now it's them and the baby, and it's just like, okay, you know, when is this? You almost want a really great show leaves you, you know, thinking about that character because now that character is about like part of your life. So like there's certain shows that I've watched over the years, I'm like, oh, I wonder what happened to that character, and that's a good feeling to have opposed to just watching the show and now you're sick of the show and now you stop watching the show but the show's still on. Like how many people watch Simpsons still?
A lot, which is crazy.
I mean on this panel.
Okay.
I mean honestly it's still on for 25 years, but you're able to like if you were to watch it today, it wouldn't be any different than 10 years ago. I mean it's good different content, but you know, you're not going to leave missing Bart.
I get what you're saying for sure. And I do agree. I just think, again, it's bittersweet.
So sad.
I think she's probably making the right call, but at the same time, it's heartbreaking. I will like to say, you guys, last week, we had a discussion
a pen drop.
About, it deserves a pen drop.
Man.
You can't rewind that and have you do it again. Like, just drop it.
One more time.
Yeah, one more time.
With Adam, you guys, we talked about the scene with
Renee
Hannah
was
and
right.
Adam, and I sounded crazy because everyone else in my panel was like, no, I think that they're still going to be together, and I was like, that was the end. But it was confirmed by Lena Dunham. That was the last scene we're going to see ever, at least until the movie,
Why
with
did you
Adam
think
and
that
Hannah.
was the end, though? How did you guess that?
Sometimes
Because-
I like goodbye sex.
Well,
It was like, it's like, I didn't get what Renee was saying until I went home. I went to watch Girls again, and then I watched the inside of Girls, and seeing Lena Dunham talk, that's when I was like, oh, I get what everybody else is saying. Like, that moment wasn't like, we're gonna hook up. That moment was a closure.
Yeah.
So it's not until after we left here, I was like, I get what Renee's talking about.
Yeah, when she started
She was
crying.
right.
That's because
I
it
did
was
not pick up on that.
Me neither.
it was all in between the lines. Like none of it was actually what they were saying. It was what was happening with Lena Dunham and
You called it, and people in the comments called it, so thank you guys.
They got on y'all in the comments.
They sure did. I was like, guys, we were like, guys, we watched it live, and then we go and we shoot it, and then after we went home, I went to watch it again, and I'm like, I get what everybody else was
Everyone's
seeing.
like, you didn't see inside the HBO thing.
It's our opinions.
Yeah, but haven't you ever been in like a relationship, whether it's a friendship or even a relationship where you're sitting down with this person and you know this is probably the last time you're gonna see them or speak to them. There's just that feeling that you just know it's almost like a closure type thing.
Yeah.
Where it's just like,
I think it was, for me, why I was completely on the opposite side is because I didn't want that. So that's why I was like, no, I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
But you're right, I've had those relationships where it has been closure, but I didn't see me. I just seen a show that I've loved for so much, and I'm like, oh, this isn't really real.
so you just put your
I
feelings on.
put what I wanted to happen and totally didn't see it. So yes, girl, you were right.
Just wanted to have that moment. Just wanted to really soak it in. But moving on from that, so much happened in this episode, but so little at the same time. Like, it was really all about catching up with our characters. We start off with Hannah, who is accepting a new job. We come to find out. What do you think of this new opportunity she's taking? Do you guys like it?
She's becoming an adult.
She's adulting.
I mean, when you have we're all in this position where LA is this really interesting spot, but we're all in this position where we don't have necessary responsibilities other than ourselves. So we can do things like, I don't know, sometimes I'm like, hey, I'm going to spend an hour in the gym, and then it turns out to be 4 because I don't have anybody to worry about. So we have that.
I'm sorry, you accidentally spend 4 hours in the gym. Something that's never happened to me.
It's follow my Snapchat. But anyways, that stuff happens. Or you decide to spend $500 on like some clothing because you don't have any other responsibilities. Now you have somebody else to worry about. Now it's like, okay, well, I can't do that because I need to get home, or I can't do that because now I need to have funding coming in for my child that's about to come. Right. So, I think she just kind of made that, adult decision, which is great because some people are like, no, I can still, party up in the club and something will eventually happen. Like, no, it's not.
I love it. And she's not going too far. If she, it will be upstate New York. But I like that she's able to get away, and you've kind of seen Hannah this season growing up even before she was pregnant, or just trying to get to know and learn herself. So I think this would be a dope opportunity for her. And if she doesn't like it, she can always come back. But I'm excited to see her adult, and now that she's with child, looks like she's about 9 months pregnant, ready to pop. But I thought it was kind of cool, and she's going to teach, which
teaching technology, right?
The internet, which she's kind of taught before, but they were the younger kids, and she gets a chance to do it over again. So I'm excited for her.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mina?
Yeah, I mean, it's when Elijah tells her, like, oh, you're just gonna write and you're gonna read and you're gonna teach, like, ugh, and she's like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. But if you think about it, that's what she's always wanted. She's always wanted to write. She's a good teacher. She has that, and I think it's a good opportunity for her. I think maybe it can lead to professorship.
Yeah.
Or even writing books. Like, it's going to give her enough time, enough of a window where, she's not going to be teaching, an 8-hour day. She's going to give her enough time where she's doing her passion, but then she's also motivated with all the stories that's come out in this last season, which obviously she doesn't think of her life as a season, but all these stories that she has, she can actually have time to put it to paper, and she doesn't have the rustle bustle of New York and people pulling her in different directions and drama and stress. She can actually sit down and actually look at her life and then write about it. So it's a really great opportunity for her because she can actually do what she set out to do in season 1.
And she can afford
it.
Childcare and afford to live and afford someone to watch her kid and get some health insurance because New York City is an expensive ass city. And it's super gritty. So she has that chance where her child can actually go outside and play, and she can afford things upstate. So
yeah, I actually agree with you guys because I'm kind of happy that they went this route as opposed to just her being like, well, I'm writing this book, because it is very Sex and the City-esque, and a little Sex and the City was so entertaining, so good. I love that show, but it was less real. This show is very raw, and it's about like real lives, and they're really trying to make it comparable to what we deal with in day-to-day life, and I feel like this is a much more relatable route to go on, because this way she can have like a real job that we saw her get go to the interview. It's a great opportunity, but she has to change her lifestyle a bit. Right. While at the same time, maybe in this movie, it can be her releasing a book. You know, like it's a great transition.
I think with the Sex and the City, though, the main difference between the two was Hannah was going from, or the girls was going from 20s into their 30s, and Sex and the City was going 30s into their 40s, which is a different period. Like all my friends who are in their 30s, like they're already into a job, they're doing their thing, they have their money. Whereas people in the 20s, as you know, we're still, I mean, I can't tell you how many jobs and
no, you're absolutely right. Like these were grown women who were established,
so they had the money and they could travel and they can do all that stuff. So.
That's a good point. But I'm glad we all agree that that this new opportunity is good for Hannah. I think so as well, and I'm excited to see her life in this new house. And I'm like, I know we'll get into it in predictions, but I don't even know what we're going to see next episode. I don't know. know.
They purposely cut us off. They're like, nope, you have to watch.
I know. That was so frustrating.
We kept waiting in the preview. We're like, they're gonna show it. They're gonna show it. It's all flashbacks.
I knew it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did say that.
TK
I'm like,
called it.
they want us to watch because they might do one of those flash forward type things.
Yeah. 10 years later. 5 years later.
But we also see all of the girls this episode. So I guess the next character I really want to talk about is Marnie.
Oh, man.
We don't really know what's going on aside from
She's
the fact she is
kind
still
of
living.
changed on a surface level.
She has an online therapist now.
She's always had that
did.
online
She always had that, yeah.
therapist.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think maybe she found a little bit of Jesus.
Maybe.
Yeah, because her voicemail says, "Have a blessed
Yeah.
day."
Her voicemail is hysterical.
She seems more, she's the person who, you know, when they come together, she's a person who holds the meeting,
Yeah.
which I found very weird because I feel like Marnie's not that responsible or to take that responsibility.
She likes to be the connector.
Of course,
She
and the
loves
center
that.
of attention.
Yeah, because it makes her feel like she's the one putting this thing together for everyone, and she's, you know, doing something.
I like
good.
that she's been ignoring Hannah's call all day, and then when Hannah tells her important news, she's like, how come you wouldn't tell me? Well, if you picked up your phone.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. She was all about the meeting until it had to do with like
Yes.
her own personal issues with Hannah. She's like, you don't want to talk about this one-on-one.
Right.
Girl.
But
You set up this meeting.
Another thing too is that it almost seems like when she set up the meeting, it was still about her because she knew these girls were all friends, right? So like, say we've been friends for years, and you decide not to invite. I'm not gonna say Mina because they're gonna get on me. But you decide not to invite one of us to a party.
Right.
I'm gonna be like, no, we've been friends for 6 years,
Exactly.
and I'm gonna invite everybody to the party regardless what you say because we've had that connection, and that's when we're gonna talk. Like I'm gonna say, no, this is what I'm doing. So it just really seemed like she knew Hannah wasn't invited. Instead of inviting her, she decided to call the meeting when she got there. You know what I'm saying? Like, how good of a friend was she? Like, she just seemed like that meeting was more about herself. It's like, oh, I'm going to connect
Yeah, that is a
everything.
little shady that she got the invite and she's been ignoring Hannah's call all day.
And Elijah, though.
Elijah. I was like, what? Elijah? No one said, hey, girl, Shosha invited us to this party. She's actually engaged. She didn't invite you, but you should come anyway so we can all talk about this. That was a little shady.
Yeah, but Elijah's always been like that. Like, he's not necessarily the good... I don't want to say he's not a good friend, but he's more like the fun friend that you spend time with and you bond with and you open up to. But he's kind of just
not
gonna
dependable.
Dependable. Kind of
But
a
I would
little
expect, like,
flaky.
Marnie...
He does whatever's, like, fun.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of shady. Like, no one told her.
Yeah.
It is so shady. However, I understand where Shosh is coming from in not wanting to invite her because we kept saying, like, okay, we were on to something about Shosh not being in the episode.
She's not dying, so that's
She
good.
didn't die.
She's not going to kill herself. She's just engaged. Tomato.
There you go.
Pretty
Something.
close.
Same version of
Same
death,
thing.
marriage.
She felt like, Hannah didn't tell her about her pregnancy, and I think, which is true because we didn't see Shoshanna really this whole season. So Shoshanna probably took it personal, like, you could tell everyone, even Jessa and Adam know, but I don't know about your pregnancy.
Right.
Girl, you're not coming to my engagement party. So I can see where she's
It's
coming
like you
from.
don't care.
Yeah, pretty much. You couldn't even tell me, and I'm one of your good friends, and I've always been here for you. It just sucks to show up to your friend's house, and you walk in, and there's a party, and she's engaged.
Right.
And it's like, who have you been dating?
Yeah.
Where have I been? That was weird.
That was the big reality check. It goes beyond her not telling Shoshanna about her pregnancy. This is how disconnected they've been. Like, you know nothing that's going on in each other's lives. You don't know your friend was dating someone, let alone now engaged. You didn't know that your friend was pregnant. Like, when your lives go in those separate directions, you're not as close anymore.
Right.
And it's not like she did anything to be mean.
Right.
She simply did not invite her to a party that was supposed to be her and all of her now close friends, which Hannah has not been for a while.
It's still...
It's still mean.
It is.
I don't know.
It's like I
see
get
both
it.
sides.
I think for me, I definitely see where Shoshanna's coming from. I think I'm just one of those people that's just like, just keep it real with me and just let me know, like, bruh, you didn't even tell me about your pregnancy. You are no longer, we're not friends. Like, I'd rather you just tell me instead of me having to show up and then for me to discover it.
Yeah, but she showed up by accident.
Showed up by accident, but I don't know. Like, I feel like this is just me. I'm the type of person, like, if you felt like I was that shady, if I was to you, call me, let me know, and be like, you know what, that was horrible of you, which it was. Hannah should have told her. I can't be friends with you no more, because then she would have never been looking for Shoshanna. Shoshanna's phone was disconnected. She had a whole new number.
Right.
Yeah, because
And some people find that easier for them to disconnect from their friends. I'm just one of those people that's like, look, I'm changing my number. You're not getting it. We're no longer friends. Have a great day.
okay, but here's the
There's
other
Facebook
side.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Could've
Yeah, I mean,
Something.
yes.
Like, let a sister know. Like,
Yeah.
so I know not.
But she didn't do anything. Here's the thing. She wasn't like, I hate you.
Right.
Right.
Whatever. I want to start drama. She literally they grew apart, and then she didn't invite her to something because they have not been in contact with each other every day. This is probably the first time, at least that we've seen, Hannah tried to contact Shoshanna
Right.
because she needed something, because Marnie wasn't answering.
Yeah.
Not because she wanted to catch up, nothing else. And the reason why she wasn't answering is because she was at her own engagement party.
Pretty
You know,
much.
she really didn't do anything wrong, and I'm sure if she did reach out, or Shoshanna and her got in touch like a week later, Shoshanna would probably be up front, be real.
Right.
She was so real this episode.
Yeah.
She wasn't, I mean, that girl was flat out very blatant, not mean, but just like, we're not really friends
Right.
anymore. She did do that. She just didn't want to ruin her own engagement party to do
Yeah.
it.
No, I don't think it was
Where
mean.
was Ray? Isn't Ray one of Shosh's best friends?
Well, after Ray had the date with
Oh yeah.
the young lady.
I was gonna say something.
What are you about to say?
Never mind. Yes.
Shoshanna
Yeah.
removed herself from that date, and you haven't seen them together. I think
So Ray might be,
I think Shoshanna's just over everyone. I think she's going through a moment where she's growing up herself, and I think she's looking at it like, I have these 3 friends. Where have they been?
Right.
I've been going through something I haven't heard from anyone. So I think that's why I think she was so bold, because I really think she's over everyone. And even though we thought she was going to kill herself, I think she's just like, I'm over this friendship. I'm growing apart from you guys. You guys are going apart from me. Maybe we should go our separate ways.
Right.
But part of me also feels like she can say that now that she has someone that she's in love with and she has other friends. If she didn't have that like
Right.
safety net, I feel like she wouldn't be like that.
Right.
She's only like that because she has that backup, and
Right.
she's like, bye.
However, she didn't wake up with these new friends
Right.
and this new life. She distanced herself and then created that new life.
I don't think she distanced herself. I think she, was trying to find herself. And I
Yeah.
think what happens, like, think of all your close friends in college, for instance. Like, they might be all over the place, and life happens.
Yeah.
And there's certain friends, well, in my life, there's certain friends, like, you don't hear from me in 3 months, no biggie. Like, we're still friends. There's always going to be that connection, that bond, and we'll always be able to catch up. And I think with her, in her situation, she was just trying to find herself in her position to set herself up for the rest of her life.
Right.
And that, if Hannah came back into her life, you'll be like, okay, well, this is how you pissed me off.
Yeah.
And Hannah actually acknowledged it. Like, if this was a little bit later on, how Hannah acknowledges, like, yeah, I was a crappy friend, then I think Shosha would have, continued with that friendship.
Yeah.
But because Hannah stormed in and made it about her on her engagement, it's just like, okay.
That she didn't really know about, though.
Right.
It
No,
was,
I just mean distance as in like less close. Not so much as like she didn't want to be their friend at all. I mean, obviously she invited 3 of the 4 girls. Right. I just mean like, those friends that you have that you're hanging out with maybe every day, and then you kind of realize maybe this person isn't that good to have in my life all the time. Like maybe this isn't as healthy of a friendship
Right.
or whatever. You start to distance yourself. It doesn't mean you don't need to be their friend, but you kind of like separate yourself a little bit, which is what I think she was doing. Like even when she was in the bathroom with her, Jessa, and Marnie, like the 3 of them weren't cool, and then only Hannah was the odd one out. Like none
Right.
of them were really that cool.
and as Jessa said, Jessa wasn't really invited. Poor Jessa.
Jessa,
Jessa's
the
like,
cousin.
Jessa's like, I actually just called for my ATM code, so don't worry about it. I wasn't invited either. Like, I think Marnie was actually the only person who was invited.
Oh,
Which is
Marnie.
weird, but...
Well,
And Elijah.
And Elijah.
Yeah.
understandable though, because Elijah and Marnie like haven't had any issues with Shoshanna. We did
Yeah.
see that beef with Jessa and Shoshanna
Yep.
outside of the party last time, so it makes sense that they weren't on the best terms.
Right.
But let's move on to Jessa, because there was a heartbreaking scene in this episode. Not even heartbreaking, like a very sweet scene that made us cry. At least almost.
I think because she did what we, at least for me, has been asking for this girl to do at the beginning. She apologized.
Finally.
And it was sincere, and she acknowledged where she messed up at. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And she was real with her friend, and she was like, you know what, I'm sorry for everything. And that to me was real, and I loved that moment. I was like, thank you, Jessa. That's all. Because,
It's about time.
put the boys aside. Friendships come first. And if she would have just did that at the beginning, I don't think it would have been this awkward and weird. I think her and Hannah could have been friends if she would have just acknowledged the fact and apologized. So I was happy that she did that.
And when she got her the gift, because she assumed that Hannah would be there, and it was a little dress for her daughter, who's not actually her daughter, she's having a son.
Oh boy.
I mean, I really teared up then. I thought it was so cute.
Mina.
I thought it was like the sweetest thing ever that she would do that.
But so unlike Jessa.
Yeah, it just didn't feel like her, but at the same time, you feel like it's a new Jessa.
Because I think Jessa really genuinely wanted her friend back.
I think she did genuinely love Hannah.
I think she did, and I think it was weird because I always said she never apologized, and I think either she had a real moment when Adam left and then came back, but she maybe was like, you know what? Maybe I need to, because she assumed Hannah was going to be there anyway, so I thought it was sweet that she thought of her, because according to Hannah, no one thought of her at that moment. But I think she genuinely really, really wanted her friend back. And I thought that was a sweet gesture that she got her the cute little dress.
Or it could just be selfish that she can't find any other friends in
That is also very true, because she says she feels like a witch or Jezebel every place she goes.
Yeah.
I mean, only time will tell with that friendship. But I did think it was such a sweet moment that they had together. And I liked that it was after this whole meeting thing. And again, happened more organically.
Yes.
And I really liked the way that happened because, again, what Girls does a great job of just having, like, real situations.
Right.
Because this would be kind of how you, like, make up with your friend of, like, after not really talking for months. It would kind of just happen. And at that point, there wouldn't be that much to be said. You know, this doesn't need to be, like, a dramatic movie scene. Right. And I think they did such a great job with it.
Although they did have that dramatic music playing, which I loved. If you paid attention to the lyrics, everything in the lyrics was exactly matching what was going on with Hannah and Jessa.
I like the vibe.
Yeah, it was so good.
And I like that Hannah was open to she was open to Jessa's apology, and that she put the wall down and was like, you know what?
Well, there's more in life that she's dealing with right now.
Yeah, that's very true.
I see that friendship out of all of them kind of lasting because Jessa will be one of those friends who like just call you randomly. And you have one of those friends who call you and they just say the most like off the wall thing and you're like, okay, I know this is my crazy friend. They need some, like I'm gonna listen to them.
Yeah.
And like that's gonna be that type of friendship. Like Jessa might travel the world and, you know, get impregnated by some guy from Indonesia and be like, okay, you know, this is my friend. All right, you know, this is, you know, like I can definitely see that relationship lasting more than the other ones. Again, if there's a movie, obviously they'll.
Right. And she kind of became her ally when they came out the bathroom because everybody was like, no, Shoshanna's right. We hate each other. So it's like, it was cool to see them two come out the bathroom and they're standing next to each other and they have that really sweet moment.
She went in for the kill.
She shot her shot. Shoot your shot, Jessa. And she did. So that was dope.
Yeah, and I also think relationships and friendships are constantly evolving.
Yeah.
I think the friendship that you have with your friend now may be different in 10 years, whether that means it's closer or less close, or again, when you're an adult, like what TK was saying, like sometimes you have friends that call you up in 3 months and it's like you just like yesterday we're talking. Yeah, but it's like fine, like it's a normal friendship as opposed to if this happened in high school, you think, we haven't talked in 3 months. We're not friends anymore. But when you kind of grow up, which is what's happening in this show, you do talk to your friends less and less. Sometimes that means you grow apart, but sometimes that means you can just kind of adapt. Adulting. All about adulting this episode.
Missy Robinson on the live chat says, I was a Jessa in real life and I never got the chance to apologize to my homegirl. She died. True story. Life-changing.
Oh, damn. Thank you for sharing that.
That's sad.
Oh my God.
Sorry, girl.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
We're all like, no.
I know.
I mean, I really like the reason I read that one. There's our live chat's blowing up, so keep on coming with it, y'all.
Peeps.
But the reason I read that one's because that's for me how I like do my life. It's to the point where it's like you don't know if this person's gonna be here or not. So that's why I'm very upfront in what I say, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
It's at least it's out there because I think. At this point in life that we're at, you know, the society that we're living in now, we just go in with a guarantee that tomorrow is promised.
That's true.
And it's really not.
That's
so,
true.
you know, it's just that's a really true statement. So
that's dope. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes,
for
thank
sharing
you.
that.
Another life change in this episode. We kind of called it. We kind of already thought this would happen, but Elijah got the part.
Yes.
In White Men Don't Jump.
White man can't jump.
White men can't jump.
Even though this happened, even though he
sitting in the back row to you.
Like white men can't jump.
Even though he announced this news at like the worst, most inopportune time, inside I was just so happy. I was like, yes, Elijah, yes. I was so excited.
I'm so happy for Elijah.
Yeah.
I thought it was perfect that they did that, like how they did that, because it just goes to show how everyone has so much going on just themselves themselves, that's hard to remember what everyone else, like, it's hard to focus on one problem because everyone's just living life on their own. And that scene when everyone's dancing, and I loved it because it was so beautiful that they were all together, but they were all on their own.
Yeah.
And just, to me, it was just that, like, they're all growing up, and I loved seeing that. I thought it was such a beautiful, well-done scene for one of the last scenes of Girls.
That's why I love that instead of showing us what's going to happen next week, they showed the flashbacks after this episode, because you really think, like, damn, this show's been on for 6 seasons, and the girls, they've grown up. They're still adulting, and they're still figuring their life out. But now you're seeing them as adults. Like, one is pregnant.
You were not loving it. You were boo-hooing that they weren't showing scenes from last.
No, I was
upset about that, but I was still enjoying it.
It's like, I really love the fact that they didn't show any scenes from last week.
Don't come for me. No, as a Girls fan, of course you want to see the scenes from the next episode, right?
Yes.
Am I wrong or am I right?
No,
everybody in the live chat.
Definitely.
I called
I
it though.
Pleasantly surprised.
But
I
these
want to
three,
see the teasers.
No, as a Girls fan, of course you want to see the show from the next episode, but I understand why they didn't do that. I thought it was dope that you see the flashback because you get to see the girls growing up. Who doesn't want to see the episode? I don't want to wait. I want to see the previews.
Wait, actually, let's just dive into predictions, because I think I have a prediction of where it's gonna pick up from, and I would like to get into some predictions.
Predictions.
Get that music. Predictions. Okay, so I know we were talking about maybe it's starting like 5 years in advance. We were like have these theories. I think it's going to start when the day. I think it's going to fast forward the day Hannah's giving birth. And it's going to just check in to where everyone is on that day. So it's not going to be like super far in the future. It's just going to be a few months in advance. And we're just going to see everyone in like either a totally different or kind of same place in their life and just see where everyone is. And then they're all going to get together. Because at this point, time heals all wounds. Everyone is going to come to Hannah. Like, it's not going to be this magical, like, everything's great and we're back to the way we were, but it's going to be like, okay, this is what's different and that's okay. I'm excited.
Together.
That's what I think's going to happen.
Babies always bring people together.
Bring people together.
Until they start throwing up, it's like, that kid back.
Let's all have a baby.
Let's not. Anyways, so who would like to go next?
Wait,
what
what's
do you
going
think?
on in the live chat? Does anyone have anything interesting to say in terms of next week? I want to know.
No, not yet. But in the live chat, hit us up with your predictions so I can read it for everybody.
I love like reading what people say is going to happen next.
Ooh. And my predictions, I feel like that one of the reasons why they did not show us the scenes because I feel like it is going to be a flash forward. I thought it would be like maybe like a few years into it. And we come back and we see Hannah in her new house upstate, new job, baby maybe 2 or 3 years old, maybe. Because I feel like it's going to be one of those things where, as we say, friends that don't talk for a few years, but you're still friends. And I feel like the girls, and maybe a baby birthday party, baby's first birthday, and I think they might come around for that.
Who do you think the guy is going to be who's with her? Or is there going
She
to
might
be
not
a
be
guy?
with the guy. Her baby might.
That book in there, did you see the book that she was putting up? It says
Single mother.
Single mother.
She might not be with the guy.
Single
Wait, what
mother.
was the book that the guy was reading on the subway? Do you guys remember?
Oh, no.
No, something. It was just like a book.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big
I
deal.
don't know.
He,
There's
like,
always
pointed
a
at it.
reason.
There's always a reason.
It's always, it's not just
why
a
would
book.
why would they specifically choose that book and have him point to it and have
If
him be like,
anyone's seen
no,
the
I
book,
haven't
let
read
us
it.
know.
I
You
want to
guys-
go back and revisit that book title because I feel like there's always hidden things in Girls.
Yeah.
Mia C says Hannah will put up the baby for adoption.
Ooh.
I'm bad with names.
Maybe her dad and her dad's partner will take care of the baby.
That's possible. Nissan Nation. Sorry, I'm apologizing if I. Maybe Paul Louis will show up.
Ooh.
Oh, I don't think so. Interesting theory,
Baby
though.
daddy.
Jessa will show up to the birth 6 months pregnant.
Yes.
Hey.
So
Yes.
Jessa will be pregnant with Adam's baby. That
Yes,
would be an
I
interesting
actually
one.
do agree with that one.
I know people thought she was pregnant. I think she was just going through emotions.
I don't
That's just my thing.
know. I kind of feel like maybe she's pregnant.
And she doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, I really do.
It's possible, but I feel like, I mean, it is very possible, but I feel like they would have addressed it a little bit in this episode, even if that, like, in any kind of way. Because if
With
they're
Hannah,
doing a flash,
there were no warning signs for Hannah.
You know what? I felt like
The
she
UTI
wanted to
only.
tell her when she was apologizing.
Right.
And then I felt like she wanted to tell her before she started apologizing, but she came in and was like, I need to apologize for what happened. And then they just kind of almost off track. Like, why would you want to say that to, like, you just closed this wound, then to reopen it by saying, hey, by the way, I'm pregnant with your ex-boyfriend's babe. That might open the wound up. So maybe she wants to leave some time. Like, maybe she does know she's pregnant.
I mean, it is true. The reasons why I thought she was pregnant is because, one, she was drinking seltzer at the bar, and two, she threw up. So yes, I totally see how she could be pregnant. But the only reason I'm like, how are they going to do this because they didn't give us any indication aside from that episode, and not falling back to this episode. Because yes, we can read into this, but we also read into Shoshanna
exactly
hardcore.
killing herself.
So I was right from the very beginning when I was like, Shoshanna's not gonna die.
Just
right,
their
Mina.
friendship.
Yeah, the good prevails.
What do you think, Mina?
I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens with Elijah and him getting the part, and I hope nothing is compromised in that. And I don't know. I feel like Ray's gonna be with that girl still from last
Abigail.
episode.
That's just kidding.
Abigail.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I totally see them being happy together. I love that dynamic a lot. Also, in terms of Adam, I think he's gonna stay with Jessa now that we've established that. I still think he's gonna show up and be supportive for Hannah at the birth, for sure.
That's an uncle.
Yeah. No, seriously, I see
she's
that.
the only child. So isn't she? Hannah?
Hannah, yeah, she's the only child.
So she's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot of fake aunts and uncles.
Marnie, I still feel like Marnie's gonna be the best friend to Hannah out of all the girls. I just see that dynamic with them still, even though she didn't answer her phone at all. I feel like that's just like a fluke.
God forbid she was giving birth, but
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Marnie's gonna find someone now that she's embracing this new her of like being religious and trying to be good, but still narcissistic. She might find someone next episode, be introduced to someone. But I hope they do like the 5 years later thing, just so that we see like farther into the future. Yeah, I'd like to see that.
I have like two theories. One, I'm like Hannah definitely, like, if you notice, her and Elijah had this whole monologue about New York, and they came to New York for all this thing, and now she's leaving. And it's kind of like when people move to LA or New York, you come with these big dreams, and some people last 2 months, some people last 5 years, some people don't make it. And I kind of feel like Hannah's gonna get to the point where she's financially sound. Like it might do like a 5 year or 2 year. She's gonna get financially sound where she can afford to be in New York, but in a different lifestyle. Like, it's always great to live in a place like LA or New York when you have some money. It's not great living in these places when you're broke. So I kind of feel like she might actually move back to New York, and that might change that might reconnect the friendship, because now she has a kid, and now the maturity level for everybody is a little bit different. So it's going to be a different dynamic of friendship. My other theory is that, we're going to get to the point where she's about to give birth, or she's like, teaching or something, and she has a miscarriage.
ooh.
Like,
Yeah.
I kind of like, I'm kind of dark,
stillborn?
so I'm kind of dark, so I kind of like something, because then that's something that you're always gonna remember.
Yeah.
Like that's I don't know if you guys saw Sopranos, but the last episode of
Yes.
Sopranos, they're sitting there and you think that they got shot, but nobody really knows that they got shot, and it went black.
Yep.
Like the screen went black.
Very good
so I
shot.
kind of
Yeah.
feel like you're gonna get to that point. You're looking like, no.
No, I agree, because that's what I said last time. Like, I said that if she does have a miscarriage, it'll be one of those things where
I said
where you
so
never-
morbid, TK.
No.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
That's not even a miscarriage. That's just a baby being born stillborn, because she was like 9 months pregnant. So
Well, if something like that does happen, it always leaves it open to interpretation whether or not she truly wanted to have the baby,
Right.
or if it
True.
was just an accident. And that could be even more interesting, because you never know what she ends up choosing.
Right.
that's very true. Very interesting.
The only way we're gonna find out.
I'm sorry, guys.
Are
We
we
were like,
happy
we
for
were
you?
like, no. I
don't
gave you
know.
two.
But
See,
here's
you
the
guys
thing.
remembering the morbid one.
Here's the
I gave you two options,
These
and
are
you
just
guys remember the
predictions.
morbid.
We don't know if this is gonna happen.
I do think that the doctor who's going to deliver the baby is that same doctor that she's run into twice. For whatever reason, I do think it's going to be the guy
That might
that
bring
she
them
hooked up
together,
with.
though.
Hey.
Yeah.
That might
never
be a
know.
good
I could
happy
see,
ending.
yeah, I could see him being with
Delivering the
Hannah, or like,
baby.
yeah, delivering the baby, somehow forming some sort of
I hope it's not a happy.
connection.
Like more. I don't know about you guys, but I remember shows that don't have
Yep.
like a happy ending, and those shows are more closer because it's real. Like when you again, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
to
because
talk
real
about,
life isn't happy.
Yeah,
you know?
like when you-
I'm just joking.
Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic.
Well, it does. Well, the thing is, like, say, I'm sorry to be morbid again, but say if you were to pass away tomorrow, like that's not, you didn't tie up all your loose ends. Like, life is not like that. So it's just kind of like I feel like, you know, to end on a real life note versus a fairy tale, like, oh, you know, she's there and she has a job and the kid, which is possible,
right?
But other things happen too.
Yeah, I would love to see the balance of like it being, you know, that real life for the full episode, seeing her new problems, whatever, her new life, and then just wrapping it up with just kind of like that moment we got with them dancing. Like it's a peaceful moment.
Yeah.
It's a sweet moment. It's not like over exaggerated, like a happily ever after for girls, but it's like a nice happy ending that will make you like, I do.
TK wants to see everybody die on
She
Girls.
wants to see a miscarriage. But guys, we will have to wait one more week for the season finale.
This is insane.
I'm so sad, but that pretty much wraps up this episode. So we'll have to wait, guys. We'll see if it's gonna be 5 years, her miscarriage, or the day she has her baby. We will know.
Thank you guys for the live chat. I mean,
gosh. This live chat's hilarious.
It's really good. Somebody said best finale ever, 6 Feet Under.
That was a great show.
Oh my.
Really great show.
You guys, I can't.
You guys are so morbid. I love it.
But before we run away, where can everyone find you guys?
You can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. You can feel free to send me your tweets and saying how morbid I am. I gave to rewind a little bit further back. I gave 2 options, so just remember that before you start coming for me.
Hey guys, I want to say thank you guys for the live chat. Make sure you guys leave us your comments and let us know your predictions. My name is Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom.
And my name is Mina Wahab. You can find me on Instagram at Mina Makes Magic, and don't forget to tune in to the season finale of Crashing, which is a comedy on HBO tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Hey.
Awesome. I've never seen that. And I am Renee Ariel. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel, and check out my blog, sextingandthecity.com. And for all of us here at AfterBuzz, you can follow us on iTunes, on Instagram, on Snapchat, like all the social medias at AfterBuzz TV.
5 stars on Twitter, 5 stars on iTunes.
5 stars
Only
on iTunes,
5 stars.
guys. Please.
Yeah.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.